It was a mixed year for media stocks, but 2024 could see a slew of deal making. Julia Boorstin joins us with a look at what to expect. Hi, Julia.
Well, good morning, Contessa. Next year could be busy for media M&A activity as the media giants are under pressure right now from cord cutting, from a weak ad market, and competition for content subscribers and sports rights from deep-pocketed tech giants. Paramount Global CEO Bob Bakish and Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav met in New York last week, according to sources. This after Paramount's controlling shareholder, Shari Redstone, held talks with David Ellison's Skydance and Redbird, along with Apollo, according to sources familiar with the situation. Now, all of this comes after Paramount suffered from a 14% decline in linear TV ad revenue last quarter, and as it faces upcoming debt payments. Warner Brothers Discovery would benefit from Paramount's coveted NFL rights on CBS. But if Warner Brothers Discovery is not a buyer, it will be free to sell itself as of April 8th, when restrictions from its Warner Media deal expire. Now, sources say that Comcast might be interested in pairing its NBC Universal, CNBC's parent company, with Warner Brothers Discovery to create a more powerful streaming platform. Now, access to the NFL could also be driving deals for the likes of Amazon, Apple, and Google's YouTube. And those platforms, those tech giants, will be eyeing the NBA's next rights deal. Now, the other sports wild card in play here, ESPN, which Bob Iger said he's bringing direct to consumer. We're also watching to see if he decides to sell Disney's linear networks. And with last week Lionsgate finally spinning off Starz, more linear assets could be in play. Sources tell me that Starz could roll up the likes of the History Channel and BET to take them digital, as it has with its Starz streamer. Now, the catalyst that could kick off a wave of change in the industry is what Shari Redstone decides to do with her properties. Contessa, we got no comments from all the media giants on these talks, but they are definitely happening.
Well, they don't want the prices to go up by talking about it. I'm just curious, though, if you're looking at the regulatory environment and the Biden administration's view of big mergers, certainly the tie-up of Comcast and Discovery seems like that would trigger red flags everywhere. I mean, what role does regulatory environment play in what we're likely to see?
That's a really good question, Contessa. And I think there's this thought that Paramount, one reason why those assets could be in play first, or perhaps sort of easier to get a deal done, is because of the regulatory environment. Paramount is smaller, and there is so much competition in that space. So, for instance, Shari Redstone could sell her controlling stake in National Amusements. She could sell National Amusements, which owns 80% of the votes of Paramount Global. Now, she could sell that without much regulatory issue at all. Or she could sell off Paramount Global in pieces. For instance, BET, there's been a lot of interest in BET. She could sell off the studio and its library. So she could sell that off in pieces, which wouldn't have that kind of regulatory scrutiny. You're right that a mega merger between the likes of an NBC Universal and Warner Brothers Discovery, that would draw scrutiny. But of course, you have to see what happens with the regulatory landscape. And then there's also the argument that these companies face so much competition and are under so much pressure that eventually they think they'd get this kind of deal through. But in the meantime, that's why there's so much focus on these smaller deals, and also, Contessa, the potential for bundling. So we may see many more bundles between these streaming services, even if they don't officially merge.
It's just it's like watching a giant game of Tetris happening in front of your eyes. Julia, great to see you. Thank you.